breaking news. All across the airwaves, there's a new audio sensation, movie, and a beer. A trio of weirdos in a basement, telling the truth and sipping the brew. Are they here for the good of humanity? Or for something far more sinister? Tune back in for our 11 o'clock broadcast to find out. Next up, Puppy Bowl. Is it racist or just fun?
Whoa.
You got deep on that one real fast.
Okay.
I'll admit the improv got weird.
It got really weird. Welcome to Movie and Beer, everybody. This is Dan Caborsi coming at you. And on this wonderful episode, we have our usual co-hosts.
Blake, the paranormal expert.
Randall, the Bill Murray expert.
Lucky.
Oh, you're so lucky because I'm not a Bill Murray expert. I've seen a bunch of his films, but today we enjoyed 3 beers and watched this wonderful 1984 classic film, Ghostbusters. We've been doing a lot of old films, and we just couldn't abandon this one because you just have to watch.
It's classic to the point that if you meet someone who hasn't seen it, it's strange.
You feel sorry for him.
Yeah. If you haven't seen, okay, we got to rectify that.
It definitely sets the bar. If you're going to make a paranormal activity kind of movie, like this one does it well.
It really does.
And this followed Star Wars' kind of foray into doing tons of marketing and media, tons of toys.
Oh, boy.
They had a cartoon series. They had a second film, and it's been reboot once, and they're working on another reboot now, and we're talking 40 years later. They're doing.
I think the second reboot's supposed to be set in the same world. It's a whole thing.
Wait, they're doing it again?
Apparently, Paul Rudd is reminding the Stranger Things kids. You didn't know these guys? I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the original.
Yes. So the original Ghostbusters takes place in New York City.
In 1984. Let's keep stressing that.
Yes. Most of the vehicles on the road look like they're from the 70s, which is accurate.
I love it.
Makes sense.
It's a good classic New York vibe.
There isn't a lot of special effects for about the first half of the film. They give the backstory.
Just
you have these
the
three
librarian.
I think it's NYU. They have these 3 scientists. They get their grant suspended.
Mm-hmm.
They have to go make a living somewhere, doing something.
It's a bummer they got their grant suspended after discovering the ghost and deciding, well, now we know what we're doing is important. How do we pay for it?
Yeah.
Randall, how do they pay for it? Obvious setup.
Oh, man. I had no idea you could take out 3 mortgages on your house.
You could.
Well, if I only owned a house, maybe I'd know that. But I think, can you imagine being the bank manager? I mean, like, excuse me, why do you want to take out a 3rd mortgage?
He didn't even argue the points. It's just like, 19%.
19.
Oh, my
Sure,
God.
yeah,
That made my soul hurt.
It's like, the first year you're going to pay $89,000 in mortgage interest alone.
But it's all good. We get a nice montage of them getting lots and lots of business.
And this is why we had the subprime mortgage crisis in 2007.
Exactly.
Because we had a bunch of these bad mortgage loans wrapped up into other bad mortgage loans.
Classic Ponzi ghost.
So there was a whole lot of really good 80s era actors, and we're like, Sigourney Weaver comes out she just shows up and she's like the first, I guess you would say, customer that comes in the door.
We got one!
Oh my God, she is.
And she had this vision in her apartment where there's these dogs, and one opened its mouth and said, Zool.
Welcome to the underworld.
I was just thinking about that very hot countertop with those raw eggs.
Yeah, her eggs. And this is like the classic scene. It's like the egg carton starts moving a little bit, shaking, and then pops open in the egg. We need self-cooking eggs.
Yeah.
That'd be the most amazing.
I'm tired of having to boil my eggs manually like a caveman.
We just need them to pop out on their own.
I'm too busy to not have my eggs cook right out of the carton.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get a nice... I'm sorry.
I read that that Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis wrote this, and they took it very serious.
Oh, Dan Aykroyd's big into this stuff.
Yeah,
he's
really big into the paranormal activity.
Fully off the reservation.
Totally.
Apparently his first script had way bigger ideas than the 1984 budget could handle.
Right.
It's something.
Makes sense.
No idea.
Yeah, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, a bunch of other really cool people. And yes, while this does not have any nudity or sexuality in it, there is a little bit of language.
A suggestive scene or two.
Yeah, but from an 80s standpoint, it wasn't anything you weren't seeing on TV already at that point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Oh, the 80s.
Oh, the 80s.
80s in New York.
We really, really like this film a lot.
God,
There's some
so
really good
good
scenes. We, I think, have some favorite lines or at least scenes. I mean, I don't want to go first because I'm going to yell mine really loud. So you guys can go first.
When they're arguing in the mayor's office with the head of the EPA played by William Atherton. Dan Aykroyd's character calls him no dick here, blah, blah, blah. And then the mayor asks them, is this true? And Bill Murray hits him with,
yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
He sends him right into just attacking him. It's a classic line. Sorry, William Atherton, for all the fans that bothered you after the movie.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Yes. And that's actually really close to my favorite scene, which also takes place in the mayor's office. So the guys get arrested by the EPA, blah, blah, blah. They're doing stuff they didn't get permission from the government. They have an illegal containment area, which uses high electricity amounts, and it's going to blow everything up. And the stupid EPA guy has them shut it off, and it blows everything up, and that causes the end of the world, sort of. The mayor's like, well, can you guys do anything about this?
And then Mr. Bill Murray comes in.
And he's like, he rambles a little bit about like what's going to happen at the end of the world.
The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. And that's the key. I've heard that sampled in a bunch of techno songs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. It's like that's like the most amazing phrase ever. And I remember that having seen it in the theater back in '84 as a young person. Amazing.
So good.
Where'd you see it? Do you remember where you saw it?
In
The
Lincoln,
movie theater.
Nebraska.
He just
In the movie
said
theater,
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you
do
the name
remember
of the theater. I
No,
couldn't
yeah.
tell you the name of the theater. I don't remember
Do you
them.
think it's still there?
They've probably all changed names by now. Would be my guess. Like we had talked a little bit at last episode about old theaters and shout outs to them, and I honestly can't remember any of the names of those old theaters other than there were 3 of them, and most of them had 4 to 6 or 8 screens at the most, and they were fairly small theaters. There's a lot of theaters here in Portland that are also not super dinky. We're not talking living room theater size.
Nah.
Maybe about 150 people per.
Yeah. Hey, Randall, do you have a favorite line or scene, or do you just sleep the whole movie?
I was watching it, and I actually pulled up the script from the movie, looking for lines that I could remember, and I couldn't find too many, but I really love it when Bill Murray injects Sigourney Weaver's character with 300 cc's of Therazine.
Good Lord.
Therazine.
That's so much.
We were like,
But I get it, though. It's like, New York's loud. It's hard to sleep. Sometimes the melatonin doesn't cut it.
And he's just randomly carrying around this drug that's going to knock the person out that he shoots up with it. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that
something you
is.
just carry around as a paranormal doctor?
Well, he's a psychologist.
He was going on a date.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
It was
that
a
makes it
psychologist
worse.
going on a date. So there's nothing wrong,
That's
nothing bad, nothing problematic.
boy.
You see nothing over here, just ignore it.
Although that does lead to one of the. It's the same scene as one of the most classic lines of the film. There is no Dana, only Zool.
Who is Zool?
He's not Dana.
Not
There's
Dana.
Gozer.
Please leave a message.
Right. Yeah, it's Gozer.
Gozer's the person who they worship, or
Gozer was on
the
Fraggle
god.
Rock. Is Gozer a Fraggle Rock
And there's
character?
yes, and there's the gatekeeper, or the gatekeeper and the
I am the gatekeeper.
keymaster.
Right.
Are you the keymaster?
So the thing
Bit of
is,
subtext there, wink,
I
wink.
literally want to find the script because Rick Moranis' character, when they take him back, he gets dropped off by the police because he's just crazy and talking
Crazy
about
guy.
crazy stuff, and they're recording him, and they ask him about, well, what are you? What are you? And he goes through the lineage of like, this is the last occurrence on this planet of this creature coming out that's a god. And he just like goes into this diatribe using these really long old words, and it's just like everyone's like,
It felt like for those who play D&D, you got a 20 on your investigation or history check, and you got a lore dump.
you got a serious.
It felt a
lore
lot like
dump.
our game, and I was
Yes.
like, I miss our game.
Yes.
Well, what kind of beer does one select when watching a paranormal movie from the 80s?
We select a couple of different beers. The first one we selected. Do we want to have a commercial break before we get into the beers, or just mention the
that's a
beers?
good idea.
Yeah, commercial break time.
Let's do a commercial break.
Yeah, I
do we
totally
have
had
a-
something ready
I
for
got
that.
something. Are you looking to get a PhD in paranormal psychology during the COVID crisis?
I am.
Well, we got you covered. Down here at Ghostbusters, we have a continuing education program for all those who want to learn how to bust ghosts.
Ghostbusters University, but isn't that expensive?
You could take out a mortgage on your parents' home. to
That's
pay for
perfect.
it. Perfect. Ghostbusters
I've got 2 parents to
University.
take mortgages out on.
We're in partnership with the University of Humans.
All right. Thanks,
Apologies.
everybody. Yes, no, it's all good. Thanks, everybody, for hanging in there and listening. This is Dan. We're talking about Ghostbusters, the original 1984 classic, OG.
Okay, so what do you have?
Hardcore OG.
What do you have that's fun? Because this movie is fun, Dan.
So fun and tangy and chocolatey.
I went on a beer quest.
Yes.
We were like, hey, we're going to watch Ghostbusters. I need beer. So I was like, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I was like, I got to get, there's a lot of smoothie beers out there that have marshmallow in them, but then there's also sort of not smoothie, but kind of sweet dessert bears that
Which I
also have
appreciate,
marshmallow in
as I
them.
don't love the smoothie.
And then I was like, hey, there's this Oakshire beer called No Ghost that was out earlier last year, or mid-season last year.
Yeah.
Mid-season, like middle of the year. And they don't have it anymore. So I was like, I went to our local Bridgetown Beer House, which is a great beer tap room. The guys there always have a wonderful selection of stuff. And I was asking the guy, I was like, I need a neon colored beer. And he's like, bingo.
I love that place because they're crazy knowledgeable.
He is.
Like
Everybody
I could
there.
walk in with my lack of knowing anything, go, I need A, B, and C, and he'll hit me with that plus F, L, and Q.
Yep. So I went on this journey to seek out, because Slimer's green and he slimes people, and I was like, we need a neon green beer, because there's some great sours and some interesting ones out there that are not traditional beer colors. I've seen red and purple and black and brown and red and green and blue and every shade of purple in between. Mm-hmm. And this one happens,
including mega violet, the
Yes.
hidden color.
and they glow when you hit them with a black light kind of thing. You're like, should I really be drinking that?
I don't know if this is good for human consumption. Hey, Ghost, taste test this.
Yeah, exactly. So
Real quick, Slimer would shotgun beers.
he would totally. He
definitely.
would just eat the can whole. He would just be like, he wouldn't drink it. He'd just eat the whole thing. Fresco Verde. That's the name of this one from Tripping Animals Brewing. And this is a sour ale with orange and lime. And this is a really, really nice sour, what I would call a kettle sour. It doesn't have any funk. There's no
it's
yeasty
all
weirdness.
it's all tangy. You
just
can really taste the lime.
tangy. So it's Doral, Florida. We actually have beers from across the country on this episode tonight. That's what's going to be amazing.
Because New York is the place where dreams are made, and
Yes.
something Beyonce song.
I know we all three have this one. What are your guys' thoughts on this one?
I was pleasantly surprised.
I liked it. I would have liked to watch a desert movie with it more.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a good choice.
It feels like it was more of a yellow ochre vibe of a desert. Would have matched his taste better.
This would be a really good tequila shooter.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Follow up
yeah,
with it.
so
you
good.
get your Irish car bomb, but with tequila in this. Ooh, dangerous.
I recently watched Castaway,
Ooh.
and I think this would have been a good beer for that movie.
I could
Nice.
see that.
So it's really dry. Yes, it's neon green, but it's really dry tart. It has
Yeah,
a
yeah.
really, really beautiful finish. It doesn't end funk. There's no funk on this. It is just a
It
kettle
really
sour.
isn't.
And it's lighter. It's only 6%. And that's what I really like, because I was like, I don't want to pound this because it's going to make your puckers hurt.
Yeah.
It was not a pounding beer.
No. You
Yeah.
could do this on a weeknight watching Ghostbusters and go, all right, I'll have the one. I'm good.
Yeah,
just
it's a one and done.
One and done is good.
Favorite.
The second one, which I think we all really, really liked, and I was
So good.
purposely trying to find something that was okay. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on out there, and a lot of breweries making beers that have a lot of extra ingredients in them that they probably maybe shouldn't. This beer that we're going to talk about next,
They shouldn't tempt nature.
Weldwerks Brewing Company out of Greeley, Colorado, which is halfway between here and Florida, so it's like midpoint. We're drinking this beer called Rocky Road, and it's a smoothie style wheat ale that I believe is like 7.2, so it's a little higher than your normal beer, but it didn't taste like it at all. It actually, unfortunately, I think these cans may be a little old because the head just dropped immediately as soon as we poured it. It was just like
less than 10
thin.
seconds.
It was super thin.
It still tasted good.
So this can has this interesting marshmallow kind of sundae thing going on the label. It
Looks like what the
interesting.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man would produce if he was an end boss in World of Warcraft.
Correct. So Rocky Road is brewed with ice cream, almonds, marshmallow, vanilla, cocoa nibs, dark chocolate, and chocolate fudge.
So everything Blake wants in a beer and every meal he ever eats.
My premise on this beer is it is not a smoothie. It is a wheat ale brewed with those things. Unlike the other ones, which you kind of have to roll the can a little bit because you're going to get sludge.
I saw that, yeah.
You don't have to do that with this one. This one is just a straight up wheat beer that has all those interesting, great flavors. It's very chocolate deep.
So deep.
What do you guys thought? What were your thoughts on this one? I really liked it. It was classic.
You know it's good because I wanted to pound it because of how much I liked it. But I had to remind myself just to keep sipping, enjoy the taste. It's a tasty, chocolatey beer. I appreciate anything that has a little bit of chocolate kick to it. I've been ruined since I was a child.
It was so good. I broke out some chocolate with peanut butter, and it was such a good pairing.
Oh, it was awesome.
Holy cow.
You called it.
The trifecta is this beer with that chocolate in this movie.
Ooh,
Yeah.
so good.
The marshmallow it was like, oh, we're going to see the marshmallow and then we're going to just like enjoy something that has a nice, fluffy, gentle. So the beer itself isn't dark. It's actually a fairly light brown color.
It was lighter than I expected. I thought it was going to be just opaque, full black cut, like a stout almost.
So out of the 3 cans, all 3 were fairly low on the carbonation side. That was okay because the flavors were really robust. Nice wheat beer. You didn't get any wheat, like zero malt. It's one of those you just chased the adjuncts. It's just chocolate. It was just all chocolate with a little bit of lactose.
I always struggle to figure out the malt taste. And when I try beers like this, I think, oh, okay, it says no malt because there's none of that flavor I can't quite place. Yeah. And apparently malt is a flavor I can't place. I'm learning, folks. I'm getting there. One day at a time.
What about this third beer? This scary third beer?
Yeah, the scary third beer was from...
This taxi cab driver third beer that gave me actual nightmares as a college
Because
student.
it was sludgy, dude. This beer was sludgy.
That guy was sludgy.
I even rolled the cans and it still poured sludgy on the end. I was like, oops, sorry.
That it poured out of that can the way neutronic positronic ghost prison exploded out of an old firehouse. It's in the movie.
Well, you did see Slimer chugging something and it was just flowing right through him and coming out the other end. And that's kind of what this was like. So this is Theme from the Bottom from Oakshire Brewing, which is down here in just south of Portland, but they have a tap room here in Portland. And you can get their beers at most major grocery stores. These other 2, not so much. This one you can find around. This is a pineapple upside down cheesecake smoothie sour ale. Say that 5 times fast.
I don't want to say it once. Oh, that sounds awful. Audience, I don't like smoothie beers.
No, this was a challenge. I was like, hey, this is going to be the big dessert beer we finish with because I thought it was just going to be thick all the way through.
That's fair.
And we did let it sit out for about half an hour before we opened it. So, yeah, that could be our own fault for not keeping it chilled. But I did roll the cans, and it still ended up being super weird, thin, with a tall head that didn't drop. And it was like a lot of fun, funky stuff. Needless to say, none of us really liked it.
It wasn't good.
For me, it was the texture.
It was the texture.
I can't do that overly thick. Nah, not for me.
Yeah, this has pineapple puree, sweet and tart cherry puree, brown sugar, caramel, graham crackers, cheesecake mix, marshmallow cream, and vanilla beans. It's like, how many ingredients can you shove in a beer?
And that's stuff I like.
Yeah.
It's just not in this beer, unfortunately.
It was sweet and not balanced. It was just...
There's someone for this. This beer is for someone. It's just not for anyone at this table.
Not at this table or this movie. I would definitely highly recommend. I think our winner chicken dinner was the Rocky Road.
I'd say 1 to 2 Rocky Roads throughout the movie. Take a slow sip. It's only an hour and 45 minutes, not counting the credits. It'd be a good sipping beer, like at a little room temp, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, the can that I have that I washed out, it still has sludge on the bottom of it. It's like,
ew, gross. It's rough. So let's just call it. Let's just call that. Which one is it? The Rocky Road, the winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's play plot keyword rename that beer name game. Gosh, we're gonna get it. We'll get it someday.
Plot keyword beer rename game.
This is the official beer of Ghostbusters.
Yes. So what we do is we've started just picking the beer, and then we use the plot keywords which are available on IMDb. So if you go there, look up the movie, you will see that there'll be a large number with
depending on the movie.
Depending on the movie, some have been very limited, but this one has a lot.
Hachi-machi.
It's been around a long time.
Let's rebrand this
Let's
beer.
rebrand this Rocky Road.
Yeah, let's give it a good name to pair with this movie.
What would you call it?
I want to try to go not first because I keep not winning this game, but I see a combo that's too good. Taxi Proton Pack. Ooh. It's a fun set of words. I don't know if it matches this beer, but it's fun to say.
It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing.
Pack. Okay. Dan.
City, name, and movie.
City, name, and movie.
Oh, come on.
I'm just messing with you guys.
How dare you? That's a Blake pick.
I would call this Statue of Demon. Because there was a bunch of that in this film.
That's good.
This or Apocalypse Statue of Demon or Statue of Demon Apocalypse.
I feel Apocalypse is a little too heavy for this beer flavor.
Yeah,
I like it.
Statue of Demon.
I like it better for an IPA. The Apocalypse part perfect for an IPA.
Yeah, and that's already used somewhere. So what's your call, Randall?
Okay, Give me a second.
How about male scientist?
Women wears eyeglasses.
Cult classic. Actually, cult classic is a good one. I might have ruined it.
Yeah.
Cult classic? No, this isn't a cult classic.
555 phone numbers.
How about leggy woman?
Kaiju. Why is there kaiju in here? There's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but he's not really. Is he a kaiju?
I mean,
Godzilla,
another
right?
expert of another phenomenal podcast we'll mention later agrees, like Godzilla.
Sorta.
Godzilla's a kaiju.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pick the keyword stack of books animal. Stack of books animal.
Oh.
If I can do a small twist on that,
What'd you do?
They stack the books in the
stack
stacks.
stack of books monster?
Stack of book monster.
Monster stack of
what is
books?
it?
I like the stack of books for this
stack of
beer.
books is good.
And so the first ghost they visit is in NYC Library. Like
Kids, a library is that thing where you can get free books, and please keep going so they keep getting funding.
It's like the internet without Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Is that how we describe
winner chicken dinner.
Too
Here we go.
soon.
Too soon. All right, yeah. So library, when they go down to investigate in the stacks, which is the basement area, where it's just row and row and row and row of old books that no one ever looks at. There's a stack.
A literal just tower of books.
It's hilarious.
Which is a classic paranormal event that people in the real world claim.
Correct.
Because ghosts, I guess, are litigious. So the vampires have to count.
I think out of our 3 options for renaming this beer, I think Randall, yours was the best.
stack of books animal? I'm gonna go stack of books surrealism.
Stack of book
Ghost
Destiny?
hunting.
Ghost
stack of
hunting.
books. I don't know.
Stack of books statue.
Let's just call it
Stack of books?
Let's just pick the
I
one key
would
number.
see the name stack of books and go, all right, I'm intrigued, and then see the can and go, ooh, all right, and then see the ingredients and think, I'm gonna get 4 of these.
The stack of books reminds me of the stack of 4-pack and 6-pack
Oh yeah.
plastic
Ooh.
recycled.
Your tower?
My tower.
You have a
It's
tower
about
of-
5 feet tall.
I'm pretty sure Ghost did that though.
Yes.
Exactly.
Ghosts of Hangovers Past.
Drank all those beers. It's like, oh yeah. So we need to recycle those at some point. But
And
anyway,
I help.
this has been a great episode. Thank you all for listening in and partaking with us. We've had a very good evening with watching this great film.
Before we hop off,
we shared the opportunity to also do a prior podcast episode with our very good youth correspondent Otto.
for the classic podcast, movie and a snack.
We did a double. We did a double on this one. We did their recording and then we did this one. But
Do you want to give him a
Otto.
teaser what you snacked on?
What did you snack on?
Meat stick and parrot booty veggie. And this podcast is older than movies.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You heard it here first. Go check out movieandasnack.com.
Guys, it's so fun.
And hear that episode where we have a great dialogue about movies and snacks and this and that. And Otto does a great job, especially with the music selections.
The music is the first and third reason to check it out. The second reason is just the fun dialogue between him and this guy, Sandal Randall?
Randall?
Rauld.
Oh, yeah.
Rauld.
How's this bit treating everybody? Let us know on the Facebook page.
Hey.
How I forget how my friend Randall exists.
Yes.
Dan, take us out.
And as always, the opinions expressed during the taping of this recording are those of the hosts. And I would like to thank you all. Make sure you hydrate or
Dihydrate.
because we drank some of these beers were pretty big and we did hydrate. I was water chugging between them because I was like, oh, I need to hydrate.
And we don't need you coming back as a beer ghost
No
bothering
way.
the Ghostbusters. They're busy
No.
enough already.
We have enough of that. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care. Listen in for the next episode. Thank you for listening in on this one. And is Dan signing off?
Later, skaters.
Goodbye, everyone.